All right, let's dig into one of the most fascinating and, let's be honest, sometimes risky persuasion techniques out there, reverse psychology. It's a tool you've definitely come across. Maybe you've even used it without quite realizing just how powerful it really is.
You know the feeling, right? It's such a weird human quirk. The second someone tells you that you can't have something or you can't do something, suddenly it's the only thing you can think about. That feeling right there, that's the key to this whole thing. So, let's start with an experience we've all had, running smack into a wall of resistance. That instant, almost automatic no.
I mean, whether it's a toddler who just refuses to eat their vegetables, or a friend who's shooting down every restaurant idea, or even a customer who's just not buying what you're selling, that wall can feel totally impossible to get past. And there's a good reason for it. We are hardwired to protect our freedom of choice. So what do you do? How do you get around that wall? Well, instead of trying to just smash through it, the smartest way is to work with that resistance. And that's where we get to what's called the forbidden fruit effect.
So here's how it works. You basically argue for the exact opposite of what you actually want. The idea is that you invite the other person to push back against you, which, if you do it right, guides them directly into making the choice you were hoping they'd make all along.
This is the perfect way to think about it. It's not about force, it's not about winning an argument. It's about understanding that natural human tendency to resist and then using that energy, that momentum, to gently guide them in a different direction. It's subtle for sure, but wow, when it works, it works.
Okay, but what is actually going on in our heads that makes this possible? Let's dive into the science here because there's a very specific psychological trigger at the heart of all this. I know, unpleasant motivational arousal sounds super academic, right? But all it really means is that irritated, twitchy feeling you get when you feel like someone is trying to take away your choices. Our brains are basically programmed to defend our freedom, and when we sense a threat to it, we get motivated to push back hard. It's a really simple, almost automatic chain reaction. First, someone tells you you can't do this. Instantly, that little alarm bell in your head, that's reactance, starts going off. And just like that, the thing you weren't allowed to do suddenly seems way more appealing. You feel this powerful urge to prove you can do it, just to reassert your freedom. Okay, so that's the theory. Let's talk about where this stuff actually plays out in the real world. Because once you know what to look for, you'll start seeing it absolutely everywhere.
I mean, seriously, it's all over the place. From simple parenting hacks to huge marketing campaigns, and yeah, even in our own personal relationships. Understanding this little bit of psychology can be a game changer in all these areas. This is probably one of the most brilliant marketing examples ever. Back in 2011, on Black Friday, the single biggest shopping day of the year, Patagonia runs an ad that says, "Don't buy this jacket." By telling people not to buy their product, they made a massive statement about sustainability, which in turn created this huge wave of brand loyalty and, you guessed it, their sales actually went up. It was just a masterclass.
And of course, there's the classic parenting move. You tell a kid, "Oh, you probably don't want that broccoli." Suddenly, eating the broccoli becomes this tiny act of rebellion, a way for them to assert their independence. It's a way to harness their defiance for good.
But, and this is a really important but, we have to talk about the dark side, because this is a powerful tool, and like any powerful tool, it can be really dangerous if you use it the wrong way.
This is the #1 risk without a doubt. If the other person figures out what you're doing, if they feel like they've been tricked or manipulated, you don't just lose that one argument. You could lose their trust entirely, and that's something you might never get back.
So what's the difference? It really all comes down to your intent. Are you using it in good faith, respecting that person's right to choose, and just giving them a gentle nudge? Or are you using it in bad faith, being manipulative, trying to deceive someone just to get what you want? The motive behind it is everything.
And that really brings us to the core of it all, this central question you have to ask yourself before you ever even think about using a technique like this.
It all boils down to this. You have to check your own motive. Is your goal to help someone get past their own internal resistance to make a choice that's good for them? Or are you just trying to corner them into doing something that only benefits you? One is influence. The other is manipulation.
And that's the big question this technique really forces us to think about. Knowing how it works can make you a more effective communicator, for sure, but it also comes with a real ethical responsibility. Where do you draw that line? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks for exploring this with me.